There are a lot of takeaways from the readings and videos this week, as well as the discussions in class. One of the biggest takeaways was learning exactly what a brave space is as opposed to a safe space, which is what we often hear. It was interesting to learn how to create that brave space environment to encourage students to speak their thoughts. Another large takeaway was from the Parker Palmer video. He mentions that the heart is the path to wisdom, which I was surprised at because that is pretty much the opposite of what I've been told my whole life. Most people who say don't listen to your heart because you will act emotionally. So it was interesting to hear this perspective and learn how this is how we can learn through and with each other. And finally, my last takeaway is from the communication guidelines for a brave space. I thought this was an excellent resource to be able to refer back to because it essentially lists all the ways to create a safe, brave space in a classroom with guided examples. I will definitely be using this resource as a teacher. Based on the communication guidelines for a brave space, I would hopefully like to implement all those guidelines into my own classroom. However, if I had to choose two or three, I would choose welcoming multiple viewpoints as one, because it is extremely important to be open to those around you. The second one I would choose would be to take risks and lean into your own discomfort. This encourages students to speak up when they normally would stay quiet and to welcome other views. The last one I would implement would be to challenge with care. As important as it is to welcome opinions, it is equally important to have healthy debates opposing a view because that is how we learn from each other. As a teacher, deciding you are going to be an advocate for social justice is extremely critical. As teachers, we are going to have students who come from all different lifestyles, backgrounds, and cultures. If there are teachers who refuse to acknowledge those differences, they are not being an advocate for social justice and can seriously taint many students' views on the social world around them. There is a reason being a teacher is one of the most important jobs you can have. We are so impressionable on young people's minds and the way they behave around others. Without teachers being advocates for social justice, it would be a much darker world than it already is. My personal SMART goal would be attainable, because as I mentioned in my last discussion post, I need to be better about measuring realistic goals rather than setting myself up for failure. For my classroom, the most important SMART goal I would want my students to achieve would be relevant. If students can apply any question of inquiry to how it is relevant today and what is going on in the world, then that will be the most effective learning tool for students.